First question is, what is the difference between technology independent and technology dependent design? Technology dependent design means the synthesis process or the synthesis tool use technology library and optimize your design. And technology independent design means during the synthesis your synthesis tool doesn't use tech library. This is the basic difference. Okay, so technology dependent design means your synthesis tool using technology library and optimizing your circuit or optimizing your logic design, but technology independent means it is independent of the technology library during the synthesis process. Okay, let me explain you a little. So what does a synthesizer or synthesis tool will do is it converts the during synthesis the RTL code is converted into optimized hardware. Okay, and what are the inputs that is given to synthesizer or synthesis tool? The first one is RTL code, second one is tech library or technology library, or third one is design constant such as area and timing. And what is this technology library? Technology library is a library which includes basic gates and some other digital logic circuit, and this technology library is included in the synthesis tool. It is present in the synthesis tool. Okay, let me give you one example here. See here, this is the Verilog module, and for this expression this is the circuit. Okay, and this circuit is technology independent, means whatever is written here, the expression is, this is the logic circuit for this one. So it is independent of the technology library. But when you synthesize this one, that means you are including, if you include a library, that means your synthesis tool will include a technology library, then this circuit will be converted into this one. That means your circuit, this circuit is optimized. This circuit is optimized by your synthesis tool using the technology library. This is called technology dependent synthesis process or technology dependent design. Now see, your logic has been reduced now. Your logic equation or expression is also minimized here. For example, we use K-map to reduce logic design. Here also using technology library, your synthesis tool, it is minimizing your expression here or the circuit. It is reducing the size of the circuit. Okay, so if this is the expression, that means it is not using any technology library, so it is technology independent synthesis. If it is technology dependent synthesis, then this one will be reduced. This expression will be again further, it will be optimized and it will be reduced to x equal to a bar b, and this expression will be reduced to y equal to b bar c bar plus ac. Okay, the next one is, what is an IC? IC is an integrated circuit. It is the collection of electronic components like transistor, resistor, capacitor, etc., which are connected together to achieve a specific task. This IC can be digital IC or it can be analog IC. Okay, the next one is difference between task and function, or what are the features of task and function. Okay, so all these points are for task. These are the features. I'm not going to read all these lines because it is very time consuming, so I have written all these points for you people, so please go through it. Then these are also points related to task. Then for function, these are the features and these are few important points. Difference between gate level and structural modeling. There is a tutorial, lecture number 10.1. Please watch my video on gate level versus structural modeling. If you watch that one, you will be learning more. related to this question. This is, and you will definitely get your answer, the difference between gate level and structural modeling. But still, if you don't get, then please write your query on comment section, and I will definitely reply. What is a procedural block or type of procedural block? Procedure means a series of steps followed in a regular definite order. There are two types of procedural block in Verilog. One is always, another one is initial. Procedural block is basically begin and end, and in between begin and end there is body, or here is your code or your logic. Whatever is written inside this procedural block or inside this begin and end, all these lines, all these codes are executed in a regular definite order. Because of that one, it is called procedural block. Okay. Difference or similarity between always and initial. Both are procedural block. Always and initial both are procedural block. Then all the statements inside initial and always block are executed sequentially. That means one line after another line. And these are few points. Please go through it, because reading for me will be time consuming. Okay. Difference or similarity between always and initial. Similarity is both are procedural block, and all the statement inside initial and always block are executed sequentially. Okay. And the difference is the initial block executes only once, starting at t equal to 0 simulation time, whereas always block executes continuously at t equal to 0 and repeatedly thereafter. So initial block executes only once and always block executes continuously. This one also you have to remember, initial is not synthesizable, but always block is always synthesizable if you have followed RTL coding guidelines. So the similarity is both are procedural block and both are executed sequentially. All the statement inside them are executed sequentially. Difference is initial block executes only once, starting at t equal to 0 simulation time. Always block executes continuously at t equal to 0. Initial is not synthesizable, but always block is synthesizable. These are few points. Like, we can have more than one initial or always block in our design. Begin and end should be used when more than one variables are assigned in initial or always block. Okay. Next one is RTL coding guidelines. The interviewer might ask you few coding guidelines. If you want to learn RTL coding guidelines, then please watch my video on RTL coding guidelines. The next one is when to use case and if else. Okay, so the question is not how to use, when to use. If else generally infers a multiplexer in digital logic. Case is also mostly used to implement multiplexer type logic. So when you write if else to implement any logic design, then the hardware that it generates, if else statement generates, is a multiplexer. If you write case statement to implement a digital logic, then what it generates is also a multiplexer logic. Okay. Case statement is preferred or it is a suitable choice when many conditions are there. So in your logic design, if so many conditions are there, then you better go with case statement than if else statement. Why? So let me show you one example here. See, this is case statement and this is if else statement. One logic, both logic, whatever code is written here and here, it is for same thing. Both are for same thing. Okay, if it is 0 0, then gives A, 0 1 B, 1 0 C, 1 1 D. Same thing here also. Okay, 0 0 A, 0 1 B, 1 0 C, else D. But the hardware that this if else will generate this one, and the hardware that this piece of code generates is this one. So definitely this one is optimized one. See here, but this is it is area consuming circuit, because it is generating a circuit which has more area, right, than this one. So definitely in this case, writing case statement is beneficial, right? Next one is, what is an IP? IP is intellectual property. Okay, and there are three type of IC. One is soft core, one is firm core, and one is hard core. I have uploaded one tutorial on this one, IP, and many more things I have explained in that video. If you have not seen that one, please go and watch that video first, and you will be having a lot of knowledge on IP. So what is an IP? It is intellectual property. It is the logic blocks. It is the logic blocks or the circuit layout design which are reusable. So IP is nothing but a logic block or a circuit layout design which are reusable. Reusable means you can use it again and again, and which describe and implement the functionality of hardware within FPGA or ASIC. Okay, so IP are not physical chips. IP are not physical chips. That what you have to remember. So IPs are reusable logic blocks or reusable circuit layout design, but it is not a physical chip. It is not a physical IC. IP is not a physical IC, but a reusable logic block or a circuit layout design. It is the building blocks of ASIC or FPGA. So example of IP: ARM-based CPU, Mali GPU, USB, I2C, DMA, SPI control. So we can have IP for this one. Okay, and all these can be either a logic block or a circuit layout, but not a physical hardware. Okay, the next one is difference between wire and arrays. These are few points, but if you want to gain more knowledge on wire and arrays, so you better watch my tutorial on arrays and wire. I have explained each and every concept very clearly in the tutorial, so I'm not going to read all these lines. Please go and watch that tutorial first. Okay, the next one is difference between AND and double AND. Single AND, if it is used as unary operators, means only single operand is there, then it is called reduction operators. So if you write Y and A, here only one operand A is there, so it will act as a reduction operators. And what it will do, so here A equal to 5 bit 10101, so it will AND all the bits 1 and 0 and A and 0 and A, means we know the logic of AND, the truth table. If it is 1 1, then it will give 1, else it is going to give you 0. So it is, so 1 and 0 it will give 0, 1 and 0 it will give 0 like this, and 1, so it will give 0 only. Okay, it will AND all the bits. It is like multiplying all these bits. Okay, if it is used as a binary operators, means there are two operands, So here y equal to a and b, this is a and this is b, so it will end each bit. So it will end first this one, this will give 0, then this will give 0, and then this will give 1. So the answer is 100. Okay, the next one is double ampersand. This is called logical operator. This is called logical operator. Okay, it returns either 1 or either 0. If a equal to 3 bit 101 and b equal to 3 bit 000, then a and b will give you false. So this double ampersand, what it does, if both are correct, then it will give you 1, and if any one is false, then it will give you 0. In this case, a equal to 101 and 101 is, what is 101? Equal to 5. So it is definitely, it is true value. Okay, b equal to 3 bit 000. 000 means it is 0. So 0 is false. Okay, so what we are doing, you are doing like this. Okay, 5 double and then 0. So what this double and or double ampersand gives is, if both are correct, but here both are not correct, this one is true but this one is false, so this will give you 0. If any one is false, then it will give you, the double ampersand will give you 0. So this a and b, a double and b will give you 0 or false. If any is the value of any operand is z or x, then the result is unknown. Okay, next one is difference between double equal to and triple equal to. This is also called equality operator. Okay, so it is used to compare values and it returns either true or false. A equal to this one, b equal to this one, c equal to this one, d equal to this one, e equal to this one. Okay, so this is also called logical equality. The double equality is called logical operator. Logical equality. Okay, so a double equal to c, a is this one, c is this one. So what it does, if you write double equal to, if both value are same, then it returns true. But here a equal to 2 and c equal to 7, so both are not same, so it will give you false here. Okay, this one is 2 and this is 7, sorry. The next one is not equal to, logical not equal to. A not equal to e, a is this one 0102 and e equal to something unknown here, x. So because this is unknown value, so it gives x unknown. So when any is unknown or high impedance value, then it will give you this logical not equality will give you x unknown. The third one is called case equality. Okay, so double equal to is called your logical equality, and this triple equal to is called case equality. In case equality, what happens, when both the bits are same or when all the bits are same, then it will give you 1. For example, here e triple equal to e is 0 1 x, then it will be compared with again e, so 0 1 x. It will compare with this one, it will compare with this one, it will compare this to this one. So both are correct, means both are same. So now it will give you 1 here. It check whether each bit equal or not. Okay, for example, if you write like this, if a equal to 0 1 0 and b equal to 1 1 0, and if you write like a triple equal to b, then it will compare each bit. Here it is equal, but here it is not equal, so here this will return false. Okay, then case inequality, e not equal to d, e is this one, D is this one. So it is telling you both are not equal. Yes, it is true, because this is 0 1 x, 0 1 z. This is equal, but this is not equal. So both are not equal. So that means it will give you true value. Okay. Next one is default values of range and wire. Default value of wire is Z, high impedance, and default value of range is X, unknown value. Okay. Difference between vector and array and when it is used. The difference is always in terms of their storage and accessibility. Vector stores all their elements at the same address location, and contents of vector can be accessed as a whole. But arrays store each element in separate memory location. This is array store in separate memory location, and your vector store at the same address memory location. And in the vectors, the contents of vector can be accessed as a whole. Here the contents are accessed individually or element by element, one at a time, using indexing. Okay, so this is the difference between vector and array. What is zero delay in Verilog? If we write #0, then this is called zero delay. Okay. So this is used in procedural block, and if we write #0, then this forces the procedural block to be executed after all other blocks are executed. So this is the example. Initial begin x equal to 0, z equal to 0, and then initial begin x. Here I have two initial block. So this one, first one, and the second one, this one. So how the simulator will know whether this one will be executed first or this one will be executed first? If you omit this one, if you completely omit this one, this #0, then either it will be executed first, then this one, or first this one and second this one. So this is the confusion, and it is random, and it is decided by the simulator. But when we write this zero delay, then what the simulator will do, it will force the procedural block to be executed after all other blocks are executed. Means here inside this initial block we have written this #0. So first this block will be executed, then this block will be executed. So at the end only this block will get executed by the simulator. This is what it is, zero delays. So this method is to ensure the statement is executed last after all other statements in that simulations are executed. Okay. Next one is case X versus case Z. In case X, it treats all X and Z values as don't cares. In case Z, it treats all Z values as don't care. So this is the difference, okay? And both case X and case Z are executed parallelly. This one you have to remember. Now this is the basic difference. It treats all X and Z as don't care. It treats all Z values as don't care. And both are executed, but both are executed parallelly. Okay. So here it treats all X, Z values as don't care means if you write like this, to be 1x, so X will be treated as don't care, means it can be 0, it can be 1, it may remain X or Z. 3b 1x Z can be 1, because so whenever inside case X, if you mention X or Z, then it will be treated as either X or 0 or 1. So 3b 1x Z can be 1 0 0. 1 is fixed. XZ value for this one can be 0 0, can be 0 1, can be 1 0, or can be 1 1. So here 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. Okay. The same way case Z, it treats all Z value as don't care. In case X, it treats all X and Z, but here in case Z, it treats only Z value as don't care. So here if you write like this, to be 1, this is your Z, all bit position with z can be represented by this one, okay, this question mark. So to be 1z, so this z can be 0, this can be 1, this can be x, this can be z, okay, because all the z values h don't care, it will treat all the z values as don't care, okay. The next, how to use repeat in Verilog, or what is repeat? So it is a loop which repeats a block of code or a given statement a fixed number of times. So it returns the code as many times as we specify. So it acts as a loop. Your repeat construct in Verilog acts as a loop. So this is the syntax: repeat, expression, then statement. This is one example. Repeat 20 means it will repeat 20 times, okay. This statement, whatever is written inside, it will be repeated for 20 times. And what is forever in Verilog and how to use forever in Verilog? This forever is equivalent to while one. While one means it is an infinite loop, and this loop doesn't contain any expression. Like for loop, we write something, some kind of expression here, then repeat also 20 times or 30 times we write. But here this loop doesn't contain any expression and executes forever until this finish task, the $finish task, is encountered, and it can be exited. The loop can be exited by use of disable statement. It should be used in test bench code. That means this forever is used while writing test bench and not in module. It always occur within always an initial block task, but cannot be directly within a module. That means forever cannot be written inside a module, but it can be written inside a always block, initial block, or task. This is one example. Forever, here see, forever, then begin, then end. So whatever is written here, this two statement, it will execute infinitely unless and until the finish task is encountered, $finish, or disable statement is encountered. The next is difference between repeat and forever. Forever, this loop will never stop running unless by disable statement. Repeat, it executes a block of statements for a fixed number of times. So repeat, it is used for fixed number of times. If you want to continue few statements or any logic, then you go with repeat, and if it is for continuous running, then forever is used. Generate a clock of 10 nanosecond using loop. So this is how to generate a clock of 10 nanosecond. Using this one, you can generate a clock of 20 nanosecond, 30 nanosecond, 40 nanosecond, okay. So here I have used forever construct. So after 6 nanosecond, the clock is inverted. See, this is 6 nanosecond, it was 0, then now it is 1, then it will remain there for 1, then after 4 nanosecond it will again become 0, then it will remain for 6 nanosecond, then after 6 nanosecond it will be 1, then after 4 it will remain for 4, then 6. So it will be repeated for infinite time, okay. What is the use of a generate block in Verilog? Generate statements are particularly convenient when some operation or same operation, not some operation, same operation or module instance is repeated for multiple times. So if you want to repeat some operation or a particular operation or a particular module for multiple times, then generate statements or generate block is used. These are few points and related to this generate block, and this is one example. Please go through this one. The next one is what is parallel block in Verilog. Parallel blocks are specified by keywords fork and join. If you find fork and join in Verilog code, then that block is called parallel blocks. Okay, and this is the syntax: fork, then statements, then join, and this statement is called parallel blocks. Whatever statements we write, this block is called parallel block. Okay, and these are few points related to parallel block. Please go through this one. What is ASIC and its type? ASIC is application specific integrated circuit. It is customized for a particular use or application. It is not for general purpose like CPU. These are few points. So ASIC is a combination of analog function. So it can be analog, digital function, or programmable logic, or memory, or power management in a single chip. So this ASIC is when you want to implement a specific task. For example, you want to design a chip for your cooler, or a washing machine, or a fan, or a TV, then that chip is called ASIC for a specific task, to control air, or to control water flow, or to control some power, or for power management you want to design a IC, or some kind of MOC circuit, some kind of DSP circuit for DSP application. If it is for specific task, then that is implemented using this ASIC technology. Okay, there are three types of ASIC. One is semi-custom, full custom, and programmable ASIC. I have uploaded one tutorial on this one, and I have explained many more things in the tutorial. Please go and watch that one first. Okay, difference between functional and formal verification. Functional verification is writing test bench to check whether the circuit and RTL are same or not, or to verify your design functionality using your Verilog or system Verilog language. And what is formal verification? Whether the RTL equals to netlist or not. So in functional verification, you are writing test bench to check the functionality of your design using the Verilog and system Verilog programming language. And formal verification is we are checking the RTL code and the netlist both are same or not. Here we give set of inputs to get level netlist and check whether netlist output is matching with RTL output or not. As netlist is the hardware representation of RTL code, so both must give same output. So formal verification, whether RTL equal to netlist or not. And here we are writing test bench and checking the functionality of your design. Okay, generate a clock having time equal to 60 nanosecond and duty cycle equal to 50%. So this is the code. If you do not understand this one, then you can ask me on the comment section and I will explain this one.